This question reads that in that past time period, the ice cap began to melt, uncovering certain areas. Now, this question is mainly testing us for the differences in meaning that are caused by these differences in construction. So, let's try to utilize the differences that we can see and understand exactly how those differences impact the meaning. First of all, the main differences can be seen close to the commas and at the end of the answer choices as well. So in A, we have uncovering certain areas that were to be occupied. Now this uncovering is put after the comma, and this is the present participle modifier form. So how does the present participle modifier form work at the end of the clause? Well, it serves to modify the entire clause in front of it, right? So for example, he fell from his bike, injuring his arm. So in this case, we have injuring his arm modifying the entire clause in front of it, and this particular action would apply to the subject of the clause. And in this particular sentence, the meaning that is being conveyed is a case of cause and effect. The other meaning that can be conveyed by using a present participle modifier at the end of the clause is simultaneous actions. So one of these things can work. It could be a cause and effect or a case of simultaneous action. So what we can see here in this question is that the ice cap began to melt, uncovering these areas which were to be occupied. So this is a clear case of cause and effect. This meaning works, so we can keep A. Now in B, we have the ice cap began melting, to uncover certain areas. Now, if I say this after the comma, this to uncover becomes an adverbial modifier for this action of began. Now, what meaning would that indicate? The meaning that would be indicated is that the reason why the ice cap began melting is to uncover these areas. And that does not make sense. It's not like the ice cap has a purpose or an intent. So B goes off. The meaning does not make any logical sense. Now in C, this particular phrase acts as an adverb for began. So it says the ice cap began. Now because this is a modifier, you can read around it, and the original sentence is that the ice cap began to uncover for occupation. Now what does this mean? This means that the ice cap began to perform this action for this particular purpose, for the purpose of occupation for these people. It's not like, once again, the ice cap had the idea to uncover certain areas for a particular purpose. So this also does not make any sense. Now, once again, we have a phrase in between commas that can be read around. So the ice cap began uncovering. But what we can see here is that there is a difference at the end of the answer choice, which are to be occupied. Now, if I say which are to be occupied, that indicates that the occupancy has not even started, and we're talking about a time period between 14,000 and 18,000 BC. So is that what we're actually trying to say? That these are to be occupied in the future? Like from our present date? That does not make any sense. D goes off. So this here is a tense problem. Now the main difference that we can see in E is that instead of saying began, it's saying would begin. So the verb would can be used for situations like hypothetical cases or a future reference from the past, or in case of a habitual action of the past. Now we're talking history in this sentence. So this is definitely not a hypothetical situation. And we are talking about a past situation. So it is not a future reference from the past either. And I'm not giving you examples of these cases because it is not relevant to this particular question. But the third case is relevant. So let me give you an example here. So I can say, when I was a child, I used to play cricket. So when I was a child, I used to play cricket. Now, instead of using used to here, we can actually say I would play cricket. So what this means is that this is a routine behavior that I had when I was a child. If we apply the same principle to answer choice E, we're saying that the ice cap beginning to uncover is a routine action that happened between 14,000 and 18,000 BC. That this would always keep doing the uncovering process. And that makes for a very illogical meaning E goes off. This leaves us with the right answer choice, A for alpha.